What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back again today from my new dedicated filming space, so hopefully we'll have a more regular upload schedule. But I wanted to have a story time about finding a home, moving, and securing a mortgage, and the things that I have learned along the way. Now, let's start with the finding a home spot. When you're looking at places online, like my wife would send me listings from Zillow like constantly. Like, I found us a house. I found us a house. That's great. Pictures are one thing. Don't fall in love with a place until you see it in person. There was one instance where we both loved this house, and I cannonballed it that day. Like, we both had the day off. We got up at 4 a.m., drove clear across the state, which it's like 5.5 hours one way, just to see this house. And we both had loved it. We were sure this was it. It was in our price range. We were able to, we could secure the down payment and everything. As soon as the realtor opens the door, my eyes are drawn towards the ceilings, and the drywall and crown molding was all fucking wavy. And like going further into the house, it was designed like a fucking fun house at a carnival. Floors were uneven. Master bedroom was on one level. You go up a little set of stairs to a plateau and down a set of stairs to the master bathroom. I easily could have seen myself snapping my neck at one point doing that. But then, like, if you're looking at houses, take your time. Eventually, you will find the one that is in your budget, has everything you need, and what you love. That was the case with us. We were looking and looking, and at one point, the realtor sent my wife a listing that she kind of like brushed off because she was convinced that house was going to be what we'd go with. And when the realtor said, "Well, what do you think about the other listing?" I immediately turned to my wife and say, "What other listing?" And that was for the house that we ended up buying. We both loved it as soon as we walked in. Has everything that we need. Although I will say the previous owners really loved the local sports teams. I don't want to say local sports teams. I mean like the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Penguins. Like the wall has. When this room is set up and or more organized, I'll say, I'll I'll show you all the insanity. Um, but you will find a place that you love, and you'll just it suits everything that you need. Um, Now on to the moving process. You don't understand how much shit you have until you have to move. And there were points where, like, my wife and I both collect Funko Pops, and mine had mostly been in storage because we just didn't have the space in the house that we were in for me to set things up the way that we liked. So I would just pack them away, forgetting how many I actually had. And when I was sorting stuff out in our basement, I'd open a tote and it's like more Funko Pops. And then like you just don't realize, like, not only that, movies. I think I explained this in a past video. If not, um, I had 7 of like the big like 27-gallon Home Depot totes full of DVDs. I pared that down to one like 400 disc binder. But my God, every time I'd open up another tote, it's like there's more fucking movies. I'd get irrationally angry. But one of the things I want to say, like, in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking to move, really evaluate what you have. Because there was a point where I was just like, I haven't used this shit in years. It's just been sitting in the basement. I just fucking tossed it. Because am I going to want to go through the effort of loading this in a truck, taking it to the new house, eventually having to deal with it, or just get rid of it? Like, I know there's like some sentimental attachment to things, or um, I would say I was like a borderline hoarder to a degree. And I was just eventually like, you know what? I've got so many tools. I have duplicates of tools. Yes, tools are always handy, but I don't need 7 of the same wrench. I don't need 5,000 screwdrivers. I just made one complete set, threw the rest away. Yeah, it could be seen as like wasting money, but mentally, after I did that, I felt so much better. So if you're looking to move, or even have the inkling that you might move, or in all honesty, if you think at some point in the future, no matter how distant that you might move, might be worth taking a look at what you have and see what you really need. Now the mortgage process. I wish back in high school that instead of having like civics class, history class, literature, like teach me the shit I'm really gonna need. No one has stopped me on the street and like, hey, you ever read Pride and Prejudice? You know, what are your thoughts on it? Nobody, you don't use that shit. Nobody's asked me to do any rough calculations on, you know, all that bullshit. But learning about taxes, a mortgage, stuff that you really need, like especially like savings, like money management, would have been handy, because I didn't think it at the time, and I'm sure teenagers coming out of high school don't think it. Like, I never thought I'd be buying a home or anything like that. I'd rented all my life with my mom and my brother. So it's like, farthest thing from my mind, but I wish somebody would have told me back then, like, hey, eventually at some point, you're going to want to purchase a home. So why don't you, like, take $20 a paycheck, let's say, set it aside in an account that you don't even think about. Just direct deposit it right in there. And that will grow. And eventually, you'll have a sizable amount. Like, you might not think at 18 that you want to buy a house, but that $20 a paycheck every 2 weeks, that'll add up. And eventually, you're going to have a sizable down payment for a house. Or, you know, even just at the minimum $20. I'm just using it as an example. But that's the kind of stuff, like, when I first had to do my taxes, like, I don't have any idea what any of this fucking means. I had to figure it out on my own. But, like, it's the kind of stuff that they should be teaching in school. So I know this video is kind of all over the place. It was just my random thoughts on moving. Just wanted to get that out of my head. So hopefully we're going to have a more consistent upload schedule now that I have a dedicated space in the process of being built. So you will see this change probably every video. But just wanted to give my thoughts on, you know, the home purchasing process, securing a mortgage, and moving. So yeah, see you guys next time.